I want to talk about this case quickly because I'm excited about it, because we've had an update and I've wanted our case to be solved for so long. So we're going to Middlesbrough for this case, which is Donna Keogh, which she was one of the girls that went missing years and years ago, and she's never really had the justice she's deserved. So Donna Keogh went missing almost 30 years ago, and she's one of those girls that's kind of, she was 17. She's kind of one of those really forgotten girls that kind of like the world just didn't care about. So she was, she vanished after visiting a home in Middlesbrough, North Yorkshire, with a friend in 1998. Now, what we know is that she went back to this home with one of her friends. Her friend left her there, and it's believed that she was working in the sex trade at the time due to some issues she was having. And I don't want anyone to judge her for that. Now, Donna was last seen on April the 28th, back in 1998, and she was known to cops who have travelled over to Leeds over the course of that year. And despite decades, her body's never been found, and it is strongly suspected she was killed. So in March, Cleveland police confirmed that a 64-year-old man, had been arrested on suspicion of murder, and the force have since arrested another man who was 62. I'm quite suspicious of Steve Wright in these cases. Steve Wright, to me, may be a person who we need to look at in this investigation. The Suffolk Strangler. The suspect detained in the Manchester area is now set to be interviewed by officers in connection with the case, and the 64-year-old suspect is still being held in police custody where inquiries continue. We made a second arrest. So this tells me that maybe, this is the picture you'll recognise of her, actually. This was from the police appeal. This is the one that's most well known. So you may recognise her from here. She has got a friend on TikTok, actually. I can't remember her name now, that's always appealing for what happened to my friend. This tells me in this interview, that the first man they're interviewing, who's still in police custody, may have given them some information, which I hope he has. I hope that kind of people's friendships and loyalties change over the years, and I hope that he has said something and arrest was made. Donna's family have lived with the unbearable uncertainty for nearly 30 years as they need answers to what happened to Donna. Someone out there knows what happened and could tell us in order to give the family peace, comfort, and just let them know what happened to their child. Donna's pal insisted she was safe at the house, was reported missing a month after she'd vanished. 4 men were at the property with her that night. 4 men with the 17-year-old girl, and yet her friend just left her there. The first murder inquiry was launched in March 1999, and we know that on the 25th anniversary of her daughter's disappearance, which is in 2023, her mum Shirley said, "Look, it never gets any easier. The people say it gets easier, but it doesn't. We don't know what happened. We don't have a resting place for her. We've never got on with our lives. Time has stood still for us." I wish people would understand that in these cases, where children just go missing, it doesn't matter whether she had addiction, it doesn't matter whether she was on the streets, it doesn't matter what she was doing. People loved her, and she actually mattered. She was 17 when she went missing. Her whole life's gone on since then. And I hope these men finally do the right thing and tell what's happened here, because nobody should have to go to bed at night just wondering. And because we don't know, there would always be that little bit of hope that she's still alive, that she's just not come home, that she's out there somewhere, that someone's hurting her, that she's been trafficked. It's time for Donna to be laid to rest now. It's time for her to be laid to rest and for people to know where she is. And I really hope they get, these 4 men must know where she is.